Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one. Hope you guys had a great weekend here. So we had a very green Monday in the markets today as we head into a very busy earnings week. So we're going to take a look at some of the earnings coming up this week. Obviously going to take a look at our major indexes, our major tech names as we resume our little bounce here. And we're going to take a look at my portfolio here and see what positions I opened beginning of the week here. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. So SPY up 1.05%, QQQ up 1.13%, and most of our major indexes green as we do start and resume the attempt at the daily higher low that we've been talking about here. Last week's Friday video, I said this is the last chance for the bulls to put in a daily uptrend here to actually come out positive for the month of October with some potential continuation, start reversing some of these weekly downtrends a bit further, right? So they are actually doing it now. We do need to see a break, however, of our previous levels. Now, taking a look at the heat map, guys, you will see that today was a very, very, very green day, pretty much across the board, save for a few names, including Apple, which was relatively flat. But for the most part here, guys, broad market performance. This is what you want to see when the bulls bounce. You don't want to see just a few major tech names bounce. You want to see the whole market bounce and start its recovery process here. And on the one-day relative here, you will see that, once again, all major sectors in the green here, several by over 1%. So that is very, very, very good and leads us into the past 1 week performance. Even with last negative Thursday and Friday, we are still green here across the board. So we will continue to see if the bulls can get it done here. So in terms of our earnings that we have for the week, guys, pretty big week as we do have two major tech names in Netflix and Tesla reporting. Take a quick look at it here. You will see that tomorrow we do have the rest of a few bank names here, including Bank of America, Interactive Brokers, Goldman Sachs, a little healthcare name here, Johnson & Johnson. And then Wednesday is the big day guy, ASML, Procter & Gamble, Netflix, Tesla, Lam Research, which is a big one as well, Morgan Stanley, Abbott Labs, which is the name in healthcare that I look at a lot, Las Vegas Sands. So you can see a lot of big names here, even on Thursday, right? Couple of utilities coming out, AT&T, we have American Airlines starting it off. We have TSM Semiconductors, one that I'll be paying close attention to as it is at a very key level on the chart now and at a fairly decent valuation in my opinion as well. And that's pretty much it here, guys. So you can see a lot of names starting to report here over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then on Friday, the main one I'm looking out for, American Express, guys. You know that I love to play this one a lot. So looking forward to see how they do on earnings as well, as them as well are at a pretty much big inflection point here. Came slightly down into my sweet spot. We will see, can their earnings bump them back up into the 160s into safer territory, or we will continue to plunge down here in the lower 140s. The lower this one gets, guys, the more attractive it is for me. So that's pretty much it for our earnings, guys. Let's get right into our technical analysis, shall we? So looking at the SPY, guys, we are looking for the daily higher low and daily higher high conversion on this daily uptrend here. Put in a nice little green day today, but that is not enough, guys. I need to see a break of last week's high, 437.35 here to really tell us that the daily uptrend is set and the bulls want to recapture more of this weekly move, right? The move that we've seen so far is a decent one over the past 3 weeks, but not enough to convincingly tell me that they're creating the space for a weekly uptrend potential reversal here into the months of November and December. That is why I say it's the last chance for the bulls. We've got all the way up here. We're setting ourselves up nicely for the daily uptrend here, but can they get it done? Tomorrow and Wednesday's trading is going to be absolutely crucial for that on the SPY here. So we're looking for the daily uptrend here. If the bears manage to flush this, guys, it's not going to look good. You will just continue your weekly downtrend here as if the bulls have done nothing, because that was the most likely scenario. The bears are in control of this chart. They're looking for the lower high and they're looking to smash this back down to lows here. So now is the bulls' time to shine and say, no, we want this daily uptrend. We want to recapture into the 440 levels here and get us a bit higher to really drive in the fact that the bulls are putting in enough space to eventually create that weekly uptrend here into the end of the month and into October. Now let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ putting in a decent day as well, right? Same principle, QQQ already setting the daily uptrend. However, now we were looking for the daily higher low and continuation. Can we break above this nasty trend line that we've been in since pretty much the end of July. This is pretty much make or break for the bulls at this point. They've created a decent amount of space off these lows here. Now is the time to really prove it and smash this 2.5-month old trend line here and really reset the expectations, bouncing nicely here off of our weekly EMAs. So that is a positive as well. And QQQ, as opposed to SPY, I like the size of this bounce that they've done so far, guys, right? They've recaptured now at this point over 61% of the move. So it does lead me to believe that the QQQ bulls, at least, as long as tech earnings prove to be good, that even if we do have a weekly pullback, there's a very decent chance that we reset into a weekly uptrend here in 2 steps if we can't just 1-step it right through, right? So need to break above this trend line here. The next 2-3 days are going to be absolutely crucial in seeing if the bulls can do that. But QQQ, obviously, our lead bull in terms of sectors. Now, XLF financials, XLF putting in a decent day here off of the back of Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab had earnings today, and they performed quite nicely. You can see, guys, that they were up pretty much 4.5%, going all the way up 6+% here from the lows on the day here. So is this Charles Schwab's point of inflection, right? You know that this green spot has been my sweet spot for the last X number of weeks, and it remains true here. So looking for the potential of a weekly trend reversal here. This is going to take some time, but this is step number 1, right? Recapture your daily uptrend just like this, and then start putting in enough space here, guys, to start really working up towards these higher $50 and potentially even $60 levels. And then you will maybe get your weekly trend change here and maybe get some action on Charles Schwab off the bottom. Earnings were fairly decent, guys. They're at a point of inflection, right? So you guys know that it's not been a very easy time for banks, and we heard it last week. So the banks, although they're generating decent interest revenue because interest rates are higher, the number of loans that they haven't been as much, right? They're not issuing as many new loans as they should because it's very tough for people to get new loans in such a high interest rate environment. So trading revenues were slightly down for them. Their interest rate revenue is also slightly down too, but it's a point of inflection in the guidance that they gave, guys, right? They're seeing a bottoming process in the fact that consumers aren't leveraging, aren't getting enough loans, and also trading revenues have been slightly down too, but it is getting to be a fairly attractive valuation for the stock here, and they do continue to beat on EPS. The key for this one, why they rose so much, was in the guidance in management saying that they are turning the curve and that they've been working very, very well through this higher rate period here. So looking forward to see if Charles Schwab can turn this around, offering a decent little dividend here, 2%. PE ratio is quite low as well. And obviously you guys know that the stock is sold off to a decent price here. So that is my favorite pick in the financial sector as a whole. Now getting back to the technical analysis, guys, you will see that financials putting in the daily uptrend here, right? So finally, financials with a beautiful little daily uptrend. So kind of joining QQQ in our daily uptrend sectors here. This is now underway here, guys. I will need to see them get at least as high as 34.20 to really say that we've cut in to this weekly move decent enough. Get me above these moving averages here this week and next week, and I'll be able to say, okay, the bulls have now put in a sizable enough move to potentially shift this up here into the remainder of the year. So that's what I'm looking for. But bulls putting in some good room here on the daily. Need to see the continuation of this daily uptrend a bit more here into the 34s to really start clawing back at this weekly, guys. But very, very decent performance. If the bears do roll this over, guys, and we start heading down further and further, you guys know, you know the drill. Anything below 32 down to $30 is a buy for me on financials. XLV Healthcare also setting the daily uptrend, coming in at the high here, but closing a little bit lower sell-off end of the day here. But beautiful little move by Healthcare as well. Healthcare setting the daily uptrend here, right? I would have liked to see it close up here, but I need to see some follow through at this point. Just like financials, it's very, very good. We've been looking for the daily uptrend. Now they finally have set it, joining QQQ. So now we have QQQ, XLF, XLV, all in daily uptrends. That's what you need to see, guys. All of your major indexes in the uptrending territory here to start clawing back these weekly moves. That's key. So I need to see them get above 132 here, get above these weekly moving averages, and you will have more confidence from me in terms of healthcare. But decent little move here now, guys, right? So any little pullback now is going to be looking for a higher low, anything above 129.32 to continue this move higher here. Like I said before, need to see them come into the 132, 133 area right up here to really start really giving me some solid confidence here that they can reset for the weekly uptrend coming into the end of the year, benefiting from that end of year seasonality here. Now let's look into IWM Russell. IWM Russell here, decent little day off the bottom here, but still kind of challenging these lows, right, guys? So IWM with a lot of work to do, unfortunately, guys, right? If you want to see the bulls take this at this point, guys, they got to get all the way up to 177.28, right? So it's not a small ask for them. But if any which reason we continue trending down here because the bears do control the daily and the weekly at this point, you guys know I will be writing options 169 all the way down to 162-ish. It's my very big sweet spot, has been for a very long time. So we'll see if we continue trending down there. On the flip side, right, if my bulls can get all the way back up here and smash this, it will look good for a potential weekly bounce. But this move down was so nasty, guys, right? So if you want to have the confidence that the bulls can reset this into the end of the year, I'm going to need to see a weekly bounce over the next 3-4 weeks here up until at least 180. Get me back up to 180. You could set up for the weekly trend change here into November. Anything under that, guys, and bears just resume their full control here. So going to keep an eye on this. Close to my spot here. Didn't write any options today, but if for some reason we drop throughout the next of the week, I will definitely be taking a look at this as a options play contender. Dow Jones as well, setting the daily uptrend here, guys. So they got it. All of our, you know what we were saying Thursday and Friday, right? Looking for the daily higher lows and then daily trend change. We got the daily trend change, guys. Now I'd like to see this play off at least 1 or 2 more days and really create some space. It is now a daily uptrend. So now if we do pull back anything above 33,500-ish, we'll just be looking for a daily higher low for further uptrend continuation. I like this. This is step number 1, right? We haven't been able to confirm a daily uptrend this entire time, all the way back since pretty much July here. So very big move by the Dow Jones, confirming this daily uptrend, giving the bulls a little bit of optimism here, and now starting to be able to take back a bit of this weekly move. If you want to know how much do we have to take back, guys, I'd like to see us push all the way back up above 34,000. So I need to see 34,200, 34,500. That would be very, very good and would tell me that, okay, the bulls are setting up for a potential weekly trend change reversal here into November. So that's why I said that all of these charts are key. The way that this daily trend breaks up or down and how much follow through we get, that is going to set the tone, guys, for October and early November as well. So we'll see how much space they can create, but great move off of the lows here, creating the daily uptrend. So now bulls recapturing daily uptrends here, guys. XLF, XLV, Dow Jones joining QQQ. Very, very good. That hasn't been the case for a couple weeks now. Now let's move on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin putting in a decent little move here today, guys. So Bitcoin, right? We were talking, the last time we talked about Bitcoin, they'd finally set the daily uptrend, and now kind of like we're fiddling around here for a while, looking for the higher lows. You see it better on the weekly. What are we looking for here? We're looking for the weekly uptrend, and we finally got the weekly uptrend here, guys. So weekly uptrend is confirmed by Bitcoin now. They'll need to hold these lows, guys. We'll need to absolutely hold 26,500 in my opinion, right? And we did clip $30,000 on some random candle this morning, right? I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's not. It seems like it is real. Bitcoin does this sometimes, right? Massive buy, massive sell-off all in one day. So we'll discount that for a while, but still up close to 5% on the day here. Very, very good day for Bitcoin indeed. Resuming this daily uptrend. It's a bit of an ugly one, but it is a daily uptrend and resuming the weekly uptrend on our way to 30,000. I will only be convinced that Bitcoin is in for your monthly move here if we start pushing, if we start closing the weeklies here into the $30,000 range. Then we can start talking about higher. Until then, guys, we're kind of still trapped in this like 3-4 month long range. It's kind of disgusting at this point, but I'm proud of the bulls for putting in some work. Nice to see some risk on assets performing decently here in terms of crypto. So we'll keep a closer eye on Bitcoin. I know I've been sidelining it for a while because it hasn't been doing anything, but now with Bitcoin putting in a bit of a move, we will keep an eye on these weekly and daily uptrends and see if the bulls can really hold them. Now let's move on to our major tech names, right? So Apple first, putting in a flat day, even though the market was considerably higher, guys. You can see that Apple was kind of left behind here, right? So Apple, we were always looking for the daily higher low for daily trend change continuation here. After like 10 trading days of green Apple in a row, we got one bad day on Friday. Today we gapped down, open lower, and bulls were able to pretty much recapture it intraday. This is what you can see on the intraday move, right? So they were able to recapture a lot of it. So now still looking for the daily uptrend. If tomorrow we start pushing up higher, your daily higher low will be here, 176.50, right? So now what I need to see the bulls do is smash your 182.25 level. This area is going to be key. The bulls have put in a very decent amount of space. Now it's time to confirm the daily uptrend here. Weekly bounce is also underway, so we'll see how high in relation to 190 we can get. I would like to see at least 185, guys. If bulls can give me 185 off of this daily uptrend continuation, it's going to look very, very good for the rest of the year, potentially setting up for a weekly trend change into the end of October and November here. Keep an eye, Apple does have earnings the very end of October on the 30th here. So it'll be crucial. This whole area is crucial now, but not really nervous for the bulls because we've put in so much space off this daily move, guys. Just looking for the daily higher low and daily trend change continuation. If Apple does continue to pull down here, I will remind you, I will be writing options 175 down to 168 as I have been for the past 2-3 weeks. Decent little move and recovery on Apple today. AMD also recovering pretty good today, up 1.3% here. So nasty day on Friday for AMD, right? Down 3.5%, but recovering. So this is what we were looking for, daily uptrend. We were looking for the daily higher low. Anything above 99.30 was just a daily higher low attempt for daily trend change continuation. Now, the bulls need to put a stop to this, right? Using the moving averages as support, using our previous horizontal support. So good area of confluence down here. Bulls using it nicely today as well. And now we need to see a break of 111.30, guys. If we can get that break, it's going to be absolutely huge for the bulls, right? If we can get this weekly break and close above this guy right here, 112, the weekly downtrend is going to stop. And then we could potentially set up for a weekly uptrend here into the end of the year. That would be huge, guys. We've been in a weekly downtrend ever since June, right? It's been pretty much 4 months. You can see this on the monthly. 4 months. We're just looking for the monthly trend continuation here, reacting nicely from our monthly EMAs. So I do expect this area to hold for AMD. The lower 100 area seems to be a good area where bulls continuously have bought the dip over the past 3-4 months. Now, just need the bulls to pull up. I did write another option on AMD today as AMD continues to be very close to my sweet spot, guys. Pretty much anything lower 100s and below, I am very, very keen on writing options on. Decent little day. Now I need to see the continuation of the push here and really smash this 112 level, guys. Is going to be very, very, very key for me. Now let's move on to Amazon. Amazon, decent day as well, right? So Amazon with the daily uptrend here, just looking for daily uptrend continuation. I highlighted this last week. Just looking for your daily higher low and daily uptrend continuation. Bulls control it now, reacting nicely on Friday from the moving averages, from our previous resistance, which is now support. Good little area of confluence. Amazon now needs to smash your previous high, 134.50 pretty much, right? And your daily uptrend will be more than underway here once again, and your weekly move will start being more and more recaptured, guys. I need to see on Amazon, give me like 136, 137, and they'll have put in enough space here, guys, to potentially reverse this into a weekly uptrend into the rest of the year. So a lot of these stocks are set up the same. Daily bounces are very nice. Now we're focused on the size of the weekly bounces. Those are key if you want your longer time frames here to be setting up even more bullish. But as I'll remind you, whenever I do these monthly recaps, all of your monthly bulls on all these major tech names are all in control. We were looking first for your daily trend change reversals, then you look for the weekly trend change reversals, and when you get your weekly uptrends, you know that your monthly bottoms are set, that you're potentially due for a couple more months of upside. So that is what we're looking at on all these names. Amazon doing very decently, looking for them to crack 134.40. Now, let's move down to Google. Google performing well today, up 1.38%, right? Same thing on Google. We were looking for the daily higher low. Looks like we've potentially got it here, reacting nicely from your moving average territory and reacting beautifully here from this whole resistance zone. Previous resistance, right, is going to be a very, very key area of support. So I was looking for the reaction zone on Amazon anywhere between 138 and 135. Seems as though they only clipped into it ever so slightly. And now we are back to green. So we'll see, can the bulls continue this? Right? Looking for the daily uptrend continuation. Google, one of our lead bulls at this point, guys. So need for them to smash the 142.34. Your daily uptrend will just continue at that point, guys. No red flags whatsoever on Google. Weekly uptrend is absolutely beautiful at this point. you're looking for your weekly resistance areas, guys. 145, this area here on the weekly, all the way up to all-time highs, guys. So Google looking very, very, very healthy. One of the healthier daily charts, not nervous at all for the bulls. So we'll see if they can continue that, guys. Google a bit too rich for me at these levels right now, but very happy for the bulls participating in this rally. Now let's move down to Meta. Meta had a beautiful day, guys, up 2%, right? Was down a little bit in the morning and then recovered beautifully. Meta, we were always looking once again for the daily higher lows here, right? So daily uptrend is in motion. Daily higher low is most likely set now. 312 bouncing beautifully off of our previous resistance, right? And now the confluence area with the moving averages. So the likely areas, guys, are reacting beautifully now. The bulls are buying the dips. So daily uptrend continues here. Meta going to need to have a smash of 330, continue this daily uptrend a bit higher. Weekly is also looking very, very gorgeous, guys. Beautiful weekly uptrend resuming here. Very, very close to smashing our 52-week highs once again. So new weekly uptrend is confirmed here. Your monthly is looking absolutely beautiful as well. Meta only really took 2 months off, consolidated kind of sideways, and now looking for the monthly uptrend continuation here. So no red flags on Meta. I would say that Meta and Google are still our two lead bulls. Meta with earnings here in about 2 weeks here. Going to be very curious to see how they perform, but I think they should do quite well here, guys. So very, very, very nice chart. Going to be looking for them to smash this to the upside. No red flags as per now. Microsoft doing well as well, right? Microsoft off 1.5%, did move a bit higher today, but kind of retraced into the end of the day, guys. You can see most of the move was done in the morning, and then they kind of fell off into the end of the day. Perfectly fine with me though. Microsoft just grinding higher here, right? As with all of our other charts, looking for the daily higher low and daily trend change continuation. We got it. We broke the highs today. So daily uptrend does continue. This is now your higher low, 326.65. Anything above this is just going to be for a pullback for daily uptrend continuation here. Resistance area stays put at 341. But here's the key on Microsoft. Microsoft weekly downtrend, but now look at the size of this bounce, guys. Beautiful bounce by Microsoft. Microsoft capturing over 80% of the move at this point. So likely scenario now becomes a weekly trend change attempt by the bulls. If they can't get this done in one shot on the weekly, probably have to get it done in 2 shots into the end of the year. Microsoft earnings coming up pretty much in 2 weeks as well. Going to be curious to see that. I think they'll perform very, very well. And if they do perform as per expectations, you could expect this weekly reversal of the weekly downtrend into a weekly potential uptrend confirmation here. Going to be looking out closely for that. Microsoft looking very, very, very good if I do say so myself. Love the size of this bounce right here, right? So I do think that any dip will just be bought by the bulls and we should be due for some further upside. Microsoft, no red flags for the company at all. They've been delivering absolutely outstandingly all year throughout this, throughout the negativity that's been plaguing this year, right? Now let's move down to NVIDIA. NVIDIA also with a pretty decent day, guys, up 1.4%. NVIDIA as well. What were we looking for, guys? Daily trend continuation, right? So looking for the daily higher low, anything above 433.30 was going to be that daily higher low. Bulls setting it today and looking now to move to the upside here. So we're looking to crack 476. Break of 476 would just mean your daily uptrend continues. So bulls in control of the daily and the weekly also looking fairly good, guys, right? We've recaptured a decent amount of this move. I'll remind you, we've now recaptured, right? With last week's little spike, we've recaptured over 62% of the move. So it's going to be tough for bears to flush this without some really negative, either macro general market moves or negative news on NVIDIA here. NVIDIA not with earnings for a considerable amount of time, so they should move in line with the rest of the market here. So just looking for daily uptrend continuation, very healthy. A lot of space has been created here, right? So it's up to the bulls to continue to prove it to us and continue grinding towards our previous all-time high areas. No red flags for NVIDIA, guys. The red flags really come if you start pushing towards this 404, 400 level, but now that's a considerable amount away. It's about like 10, 15% away, right? So creating some decent space here. NVIDIA on the monthly, just taking a few months off, potentially setting up for the monthly bull flag for future continuation here, should their earnings continue to outperform here. Next earnings cycle for them is in November. I like this chart, just a bit too rich for me right now. Now let's move on to Tesla. Tesla as well. Tesla with earnings, guys, on Wednesday. So this chart should not do much until Wednesday here. Crucial point for Tesla though, right? So Daily uptrend was confirmed by the bulls here, right? Bit of an ugly one, but it was continued to be confirmed. And now we've lost our most recent leg here, but we're playing into some bigger support here, guys. 243 all the way down to 235 is the key area. You can see it better on the weekly. This is your weekly higher low, right? So bulls doing a great job of this bounce. Weekly higher low, lower high, and now we're kind of tightening up. Tightening range into earnings, which was the expectation. Been saying this for 2 weeks now. So Tesla is right in the middle. You see how they're right in the middle? The low is down here, 235, the high 279, and we're about 254, right in the middle of this entire range. I think that earnings is going to push this either way, guys. EPS and profit margins are going to be crucial. We know revenue is going to be down because they didn't deliver per expectations. So it's going to be all about your profit margins. Good profit margins and positive guidance on Cybertruck, you will most likely end up in the higher end of this range. Bad EPS, bad profit margins, and concerns about delivery slowdown, bad comments from Elon Musk, you will come back down to this 235 and revisit. At that point, we'll be back in my sweet spot here. So going to be very crucial on earnings. I don't want to predict too much where earnings is going to go. Just know that up until, Tuesday and Wednesday throughout the day, guys, we should remain pretty tight here. I doubt that Tesla makes any major moves before earnings here. So earnings will be crucial in saving this chart, guys, okay? So now let's move on to the two last ones. Palantir, we were looking for the daily higher low, got it here, right? So got it today pretty much. I'm pretty confident saying this is your daily higher low, 1670, right? Reacting beautifully from our previous area of resistance, right? This little high right here. It's pretty much a range. You can say it's all the way back down here, right? 1670 down to 1625 was the target area. So we are reacting beautifully from here. Daily uptrend seems to want to continue. No negative news on Palantir, and Palantir with news early November, right? So daily uptrend, weekly uptrend confirms. Bulls are in full control of this chart. Monthly uptrend is potentially resuming as well here. So very, very bullish on Palantir as a whole. Bit too high for me, guys. I would have liked to buy this stock, more of this stock in the 13 to 12 area, but congratulations to our bulls. The next step is pretty much just going to be cracking this 1846 level right here, resuming your uptrend here, and then challenging these 52-week highs around the $19, $20 range. But looking good, guys. They negated this weekly head and shoulders pattern, which is not an easy thing to do. And now they've reversed it. Weekly uptrend continues. Moving averages used as support here. Beautiful, beautiful trend by Palantir. PayPal here with a 2.25% gain here off the bottom. So Thursday and Friday, the bears had the flush. Were they just looking to trigger a bunch of people's stop losses below this area? Can we potentially get a rise in PayPal? We will see, but I am not going to be bullish on this stock in the short term, guys, until we put in a move at least to $60. Give me a move to see. I've been saying this for 3 weeks at this point. Until I see a break here above $60 and daily uptrend confirmation, it's tough for me to be bullish and say that this is the bottom. I'll only say that most likely this was a local bottom if we can daily trend change confirm at that point and really start to put a dent in this weekly downtrend, because so far it's just more weekly downtrend, and so far as well it's just been daily downtrend reconfirmed, right? Continues to tightening range and then break to the lower side, which has been a theme for PayPal over the last year. So PayPal for me, get me above $60, change that daily trend to the upside here, and I'll be convinced if we do pull back lower, guys. I was very tempted to write the 55 puts today, but it was a green day here. So if we do pull back further, I will be writing some options here in the lower $50 range, lower my cost basis on my assigned shares. But I love PayPal at these levels, guys. Tough for me to say it's a bad buy at these levels. So that's pretty much it for our technical analysis. Let's take a look at my portfolio here. What did we do? So portfolio here up today, back up to 31.5% pretty much for the year against the S&P, which is only up under 13. So very good performance against the S&P. And the NASDAQ, we are competing neck and neck with the NASDAQ. Tight race here. We're up 31.45%. And the NASDAQ just under 30% for the year here. So we will see, can we outperform the NASDAQ without buying and holding any of the NASDAQ stocks this year, right? Amazon, Google, Apple, all those guys up 40%. NVIDIA up 1,000,000% this year. Tesla up over 100 and something percent this year, right? Netflix, all of the major names that carried the QQQs are up substantially. We didn't hold any of those, right? And those are ridiculous percentages for those names in a year. And we've been holding the line with the NASDAQ, just running our options wheel strategy, guys. So very, very good strategy. I'm happy with the year's performance, although we did have a very severe dip here since August, right? A bit of trades that we got assigned. One of my really, really bad days here, made some bad decisions, right? Happens to everybody. And we just been kind of riding this out on the road to recovery here. But decent year as a whole, guys. I was able to withdraw like 12% of this account here. So we should be higher on a cash-to-cash basis. We should be in the 40s. But I did make some withdrawals. There were some periods of drawdown as well, as you can see here, but positioned well for the end of the year, in my opinion. And now the positions for the week. Well, no Tesla, no Netflix. I may play a bit of Tesla. If Tesla does come down, I may play a very conservative position in the $220 range. We will see how the premiums are. I'm going to wait an extra day till tomorrow, maybe even Wednesday to do it. But for now, right, you'll see that all my positions last week expired and we pocketed all this premium here. What did we write today? We wrote Rivian. Rivian 18.5s. I like Rivian. I've always liked Rivian. It's just they were too rich. So 18.5 on Rivian is this lower area right here where we kind of dip to. So we'll see only 2 contracts here. But Rivian, keep in mind, right? Weekly downtrend is confirmed. I'm just looking to play a bit of the bounce here. But if I do get assigned in this lower 1850 area, that's pretty decent for me, guys. We are looking for the monthly trend reversal on Rivian here. So looking to participate on that. Not the first time I've played Rivian on this channel. So looking to participate in that. Only 2 contracts. Tiny position, little feeler position, right? So got 17 cents for those. We will see how they play out, but pretty much 1%, right, of the contract for the week. Happy about that. We played Apple. Once again, we've been playing Apple for like a month now. We played the 175s here, got 70 cents for them, right? I wasn't at my computer between about 9 and 10:30. I had an appointment this morning, got back, and the market was already up very decently. So I didn't get that much premium. Could have got a lot more was I there at 9:30. Unfortunately, didn't happen, but you take what you get. Premiums were still good, so I did write the Apple 175s for this week for 70 cents. Up a little bit on those right now. AMD 102s for 55 cents, so about 0.5% on these per the week, right? So 102s on AMD. We have a decent little cushion on AMD this week, right? They're trading about 106.46. 102 is going to be this little yellow line right here. Let me bring it down to 102 so you can see 102 is really these lower areas here, guys. Has been a very decent area of support in the past. Not too far from my sweet spot either, so I will take it on AMD. Wouldn't mind being assigned there. Qualcomm, we're playing Qualcomm again. The 108s for 54 cents. Exactly 0.5% on this contract as well. Qualcomm, I'll remind you, I love this level, right? Qualcomm 108s is this yellow line right here, right? So 107.95, let's call it. This line right here has been support on Qualcomm here since the better part of the last 2 months, since August. And even further than that, guys, you'll go back to last October. It loves this spot. It's like a magnet, right? So the monthly chart is kind of bottoming in this whole area. I like this area because it's big support. That is why I'm playing it. Qualcomm has some very decent fundamentals. No criticisms on my part for that. So we'll see 110.51 at the end of the day here today. So we will see if we get a sign on those or if once again we pocket the premium like last week. And finally, Charles Schwab, the 52s. Charles Schwab, told you guys, right? I was interested, wanted to hear the earnings, wanted to hear about their most recent positioning, and if guidance and management's expectations were good, and they were, so I'm very confident in replaying Charles Schwab. It is in my sweet spot zone right here. It is a lower area, right? This whole 50 down about 48 range is a very, very decent area of support. So I got some decent premium on the 52s for today, so I took them, guys. I wish I could have taken them early in the day, but I got to my computer, and it was this candle right here, and I was like, oh, I would have loved to have this whole area here. I would have been able to write the 50s for the same amount of premium, but we'll write the 52s. I'm not very nervous, even if I do get assigned. We only wrote 1 contract as a feeler right away. If it continues to drop, right, if it comes back down to the 52s, I may write some 50s and get my average cost down a little bit on these, but decent, got 0.5% for those. So that's pretty much all the plays for the week. We are still riding the rest of our stocks, right? Still riding Coca-Cola, waiting for them to come up to be able to write calls at 55. Still riding PayPal. Still riding my 20-year bond plays, TMF. Still riding CSIQ. Bit of an update today, but not enough. Need them to get it back up above 25, 26 to start getting some juicy premium. And still riding my banking, Canadian banking ETF. So all in all, decent little performance here on the day here, guys, today. Not full buying power yet. We will see if more opportunities present themselves tomorrow here, guys. And that's pretty much it for today's video. So I hope you guys appreciated the video. If you did, consider giving me a like. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. We always love to have you here. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me down below in the comments. I would love to see it. I'm going to put 2 videos up here right now. One of them is going to be my options wheel strategy, and one of them is going to be my 10 value plays that are on dips right now that I think are good plays here, guys. So take care. Have a great rest of your day here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow after the close. Peace.